Hello, fellow humans. Chris here. So, today I wanted to talk about pronouns and equality and half measures. So, I was on Facebook and there was this post about an article that had to do with trans rights when it comes to using the public restrooms, specifically referring to transgender women using women's bathrooms. Now, I'm not really going to get into my thoughts on that part of it specifically. That's not the point of this conversation. The point is actually a woman commented about a person in her town who had transitioned to female, and she was having trouble, the person she knows, she was having trouble using the women's restroom. She was getting pushback from women in the town. And this person commenting was in support of her being able to use the public restroom, the women's public restroom. However, in her comment, she referred to her as he/she, her/him. And she understandably got a lot of angry pushback from people for saying that. And she was voicing support for this person being able to use the public restroom. She had said that she had even pushed herself for this person to be able to use the public restroom. But she referred to her as a he/she. And when she was called out on this, which of course she was, she responded that she knows that it is she, but she says he/she for people that don't understand. And she didn't really understand why people would be so upset about her saying he/she. And she kind of doubled down on it. More people from different perspectives kind of explained to her why that's wrong to say it like that. And she seemed to not understand why people would be offended by that, by just a word. I can't get behind the logic of using a certain terminology to appease people who don't understand, particularly when it's something that is treated with such hostility by a lot of people. It's a very polarizing issue. You From my experience, I don't run into a lot of people that are very middle of the road. You either support trans rights or you don't. You either respect people being called by the pronoun that they prefer or you don't. So if you're going to be that kind of person that supports their rights, you have to refer to them by their preferred pronoun. You can't say he/she in some attempt at making it less confusing for people that just choose to not understand or to have sympathy or frankly to just mind their own business about things that don't concern them. Saying he/she is kind of worse than just saying he, really, because to me it comes off like, he/she, whatever, that doesn't really matter. I can think of a lot of other terms that people use. Right now it is the Ben Shapiro's of the world who prefer to not call people by their preferred pronouns because for some reason it makes them butthurt. But in other contexts, there's other words that have been used for African Americans, for gay people, even women in general. I would be hard pressed to find somebody that was willing to that believed in the rights, that believed in the equality of these minorities to be able to do things that everybody else can do, whether it be using the public restroom or getting married or having a certain job or having equal pay. I would be hard-pressed to find somebody that had those beliefs that would be willing to call these people by some of the horrible things that they've been called over the years so that it's more easily understood by the opposition. I don't see a lot of people being like that for a good reason. He, she, I guess you could argue, isn't as inflammatory as some of these other phrases that I'm alluding to. But it seems pretty bad to me, particularly when you are trying to describe yourself as somebody that is supportive of trans rights. I don't understand how you could think calling somebody a he, she is okay. It at least with people who intentionally misgender people, and believe me, I'm not trying to defend them, but at least they are sticking with what they think is the truth, what they believe is right. They're not putting out some bogus phrase to make the other side feel better about their shitty beliefs. He, she is not an acceptable way to describe anybody, and it was particularly troublesome when the context is about a person that had transitioned to a woman, and she had already proclaimed this. She had already established this in the comment itself. There was no need to say he, she. There was no confusion about who this person was. For her to say he, she really kind of eliminates the whole point of being a supporter of that. I watched Breaking Bad during this coronavirus pandemic. I did a good amount of binge watching of different news shows on Netflix, and without giving any spoilers, there was a point in the show where one character said to another character, "No half measures." And the context was this person was trying to retaliate against an enemy, but they were really trying to send a message but not do any permanent damage. And the thinking was no half measures, either go full measure or don't do anything. It's like that phrase, don't wound what you can't kill. To say he, she is a half measure, and it really does more damage than just misgendering the person completely, because he, she it's worse than misgendering. It's dehumanizing. Anyway, thanks for checking in on me. I will be talking to you all again really soon. Always happy to engage, and hopefully I will hear some comments here, respectful comments, and subscribe if you haven't already. I definitely appreciate it. Yeah, I hope that you all had a good holiday, and we'll have a happy new year, and I'll be talking to you again real soon. Thanks a lot, and remember, don't be afraid to question the consensus.